What's up guys, it's Meg. Welcome back to Meg After Dark. We're back in the car again for another Walking Dead review. Today we're talking about season 8 episode 12 called The Key. It was such an incredible episode last night. Like, anybody who says last night's episode was boring needs to just shut the fuck up and stop watching TV altogether, because you clearly have no sense of what is good in television, because last night's episode was so good. I love these kind of episodes in The Walking Dead because there is so much action. There's just nothing boring about it. It leaves you on the edge of your seat. They introduce new characters. Like, everything was just, I kept going, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I pretty much laughed through the entire episode because I was in such like amazement at everything that was happening, and I got so much joy out of like watching all of the scenes with Negan and Rick, and oh my gosh, it was such a good episode. So let's start at the beginning. We have the Saviors on their way to the Hilltop. They've got their nasty Walker blood covered, gut covered weapons. Negan is super cocky and confident. Dwight is now stuck with the Saviors. He wants to go ahead and warn the Hilltop, but he's not able to, and I think it's because Negan suspects him. When Negan comes up to his room, it seemed to me that it was very clear that Negan was kind of suspicious about Dwight and the fact that he was the only one who survived. Negan knows that Dwight has his motives there, and I don't know if he's certain that Dwight has betrayed them or not, but he's definitely got a feeling. So he tells Simon to have Dwight ride with him, so Dwight is not able to go ahead and warn them at all. Rick and Michonne arrive at the Hilltop. Rick is reunited with baby Judith, who's not a baby anymore, so I guess I can't really call her that. And there's this first weird person of the day, that lady. Shit. Why do I keep getting distracted, you guys? Because random people keep walking past the car. And I've got my window down because it's really hot today. So I'm sure she heard me talking. I don't know where she's going. Anyways, I might actually have to move because there's a bunch of kids coming out to recess, and I'm not gonna show you, but there's a playground right like pretty close to me. I'm actually on the opposite side of the parking lot. So okay, back to what I was talking about before I lose my train of thought too much. I was talking about baby Judith. Okay, I said that. Rick is visiting Glenn and Abe's graves, and he gets this moment with Daryl, and we don't ever hear, Daryl gets a lot of flack from fans, or not fans of Daryl, and because he never really speaks a lot. He doesn't really have a lot of lines, and when he does, they're like quick grunts, like under his breath sort of thing, and you can't really, like, half the time I don't even know what he's saying. So I really enjoyed like hearing him tell Rick what his reasoning was for going to the sanctuary, going to the Saviors, and doing what he did. And it was not necessarily an apology. I mean, I think it was like to the best of Daryl's ability to apologize. It was like a, I don't know if it was right or wrong, but that's why I did it kind of thing. And Rick also has this moment where he was like, I don't know what I was thinking either. Like, I was trying to save innocent lives, but I wasn't worrying enough about the people. Like, I should have just been worrying about my people. And Rick has a lot of guilt, I think, that we haven't even necessarily seen all of it yet, but I think he has a lot of guilt for Carl's death, and probably even also because of what Negan said to him over the radio. You know, Rick's already blaming himself that he couldn't save Carl. He has been working since day one to get back to Carl, to save Carl, to provide a life for Carl, to provide a safe place for Carl. And yes, we have Judith, but Carl is like, you know, it's your firstborn. And it's just, to lose his child like that, there's just never being the same person that you were before that happened. So he needs to kill Negan. And he is also, you hear in that moment with this conversation with him and Daryl, you hear that guilt in his voice. Like, he doesn't necessarily voice it all the way, but he does say that he should have been focusing on protecting his people first. And I just loved that conversation between Rick and Daryl, because Daryl is such a right-hand man to Rick. Rick trusted him with his daughter and with the surviving people of Alexandria to get them safely to the Hilltop. But we don't ever really get those kinds of conversations, so I just thoroughly enjoyed that. Okay, you guys, I just looked and this lady just circled the parking lot and is coming back towards me again. I'll show you. Where is she? Last time you guys said that you wanted to see all the weird people walking by. So there you go, same lady. She made a big circle. Not sure what she's doing. Big circle around the parking lot. You know, it's very interesting. I don't think anybody knows how busy this parking lot is during school hours and church hours. It's very odd. Anyways, Rick goes to kind of scout out to make sure like he does not want to miss being ready for Negan's attack on the Hilltop. So, but he has this like ulterior motive that I don't even think he really tells Daryl, but Daryl knows, I think. And so when Rick is out there, he sees the Saviors coming. He's about to hit his horn to alert the other scouts, probably to alert Daryl, whatever, that they're coming. But instead he spots Negan and he's like, this is my chance, this is my moment, like I can kill him right now. And he goes after Negan, and I just, from this point on, I just love this. It's just this ruthless Rick, and he is so determined to kill Negan no matter what. Like, he can't see anything but Negan's death in his future. There's no reasoning with him. Like, Carl's got no voice now in his head anymore. Like, he sees it and he sees red and he's like, kill. So he runs Negan off the road, and we have Simon, who is like super gonna take advantage of this moment, because we know that Simon does not want Negan to continue like ruling the Saviors. He just doesn't think that he has it anymore. And he of course killed all of the scavengers, all of Jadis's people, and he really thinks that, and you hear him in this conversation with Dwight, you hear him talking about how he really doesn't think that the Alexandrians, the people of the Hilltop, will cower, that there's no showing them like the way anymore, that basically like he firmly believes that they all have to die. But he doesn't tell Dwight this. He just kind of says like, come on, we can like move on after this, let's just forget it and start over and find new groups and stuff. And I don't know why, like I think because Dwight doesn't know that he killed all of the scavengers either, Dwight for some reason decides to go along with it. And you know, they do this like half-ass attempt to find Negan. They don't find him. They don't really look for him well enough. Moving forward to I'm gonna go back and talk about Georgie and everything in a minute. But moving on and keep going on this theme with Rick and Negan, they go into this old medical supply warehouse store type thing. I don't know, it's super run down. And I absolutely love the ruthlessness in Rick when he's like, he runs out of bullets and all of a sudden Negan's like, haha, now it's like an even fight. Which, why after all this time is Negan so cocky that he does not carry some kind of gun with him? Like, dude, my man, you're so stupid right now. Like, he's going on his way to the Hilltop to attack the Hilltop, not to kill anyone, but to attack them. Like, do you not think maybe you should have a gun with you? And maybe he had a gun in the car, but it wasn't attached to him. Like, he needs his weapons attached to him, like Rick. Rick's got his pistol, he's got his hatchet, like, I'm sure he's got a knife somewhere. Like, you gotta be prepared for things. And all he had was Lucille. And he's really confident going up those stairs until Rick throws the hatchet. Oh my God, I loved that moment when Rick is just like, you're not getting away now. And he just doesn't even think. He doesn't even think. He's just like whips it out, just right at Negan's head, to the point where Negan wasn't even expecting that. Like, he wasn't even expecting to have Rick like go that far, I guess. And he loses Lucille and he falls down, you know, and there's this whole scene where they're going and you can't really, I think because the warehouse is so empty, I guess. All you're hearing is their echoing voices, so they can't really tell where each other is at. Rick finds Lucille, which there was this moment right before it happened where I was like, thinking in my head, Rick's totally gonna find Lucille. Drink of choice today is Dr. Pepper, not sponsored, I wish. Rick finds Lucille, and he doesn't just use Lucille, like he doesn't have a flashlight. So what better way? Like, here's some rubbing alcohol on the floor, like let's light Lucille on fire. Not only hurt Negan by lighting his beloved bat on fire, but let's light the way. Like, and then he starts beating down the, I mean, at this point I think that Rick is not so much concerned about surviving himself, although he should be because he does have a daughter, but he is more concerned about killing Negan, and he doesn't care at this point if he survives or not. All he cares about is seeing Negan dead. He needs Negan dead, and so he's taking a lot of risks that maybe if he was thinking more clearly he wouldn't be taking, because he takes the flaming bat and he just starts beating down the boards that are keeping all of the eaters locked in. And he starts beating them down because he wants Negan to die, and if he can't physically kill Negan, then let the walkers trap him into it, you know, like what better way? Negan, fueled by his anger that Lucille is in the hands of Rick, comes charging after him because now he doesn't care about anything either except Lucille, and which leads to this whole fight, and Negan escapes, and we don't really see what happens until the very end. And I thought, like, I knew Rick went outside and he didn't see Negan, but I, like, for sure that end scene where Negan woke up in the car, I was like, oh my gosh, Rick kidnapped Negan, like he got him, like how is this how it's ending? Those of you who have read the comics, which this is not a comic spoiler, but there is a part in, like, another interaction between Rick and Negan towards the end of, like, this big all-out war thing that's happening. There is another kind of fight between them right before it all ends, and that is, like, something that I feel like I really want to see. So I was a little bit worried in that moment. I mean, that's something that you, like, would be epic to see on the television screen. So in that moment when I saw Negan was kidnapped, I was like, oh my god, Rick can't have him already. Like, that's not how this is supposed to work. Which I know not everything from the comics comes to life, but if you guys knew what I was talking about, like those who've read the comics, don't spoil it for people, but those who have read the comics know, like, how it ends, and, like, we want to see that on TV. And then we see that it's Jadis, fucking Jadis. You just know that she was sitting there watching, like, Rick chase him inside and stuff. Like, she knew he was there inside and she was waiting for him. So now she has him. What is she gonna do with him? Is she going to paint him? Is she going to deliver him to Rick as, like, a peace offering because she's now alone and she needs a group again? Like, I have no idea. It's weird. It's kind of up in the air. I will tell you that I do not think that she will succeed in keeping Negan trapped there or kidnapped or imprisoned or whatever she's gonna do. I don't think she'll succeed at all. Somehow Negan is gonna escape her or kill her or something. I'm just not sure how it's gonna be. I just don't see it being that easy to just hand him over to Rick and then all of a sudden he's captured and all is well in the world. You know what I mean? I just don't see it working out like that. But I don't know. Maybe she tries to drive him to the hilltop and the hilltop's already under attack. Like, I'm not sure how that would work. I want to go back real fast because this review is getting long already and talk about this new character, Georgie, which everyone is telling me. So I'm about 2 issues behind in the comics. My comic book store is just not, like, easily accessible. And I mean, it is, but I just don't like driving there. So I'm about 2 issues behind, which sucks because I totally need to get on it. And no spoilers or anything because I don't really know any spoilers, but I do know that there is a huge group called the Commonwealth, which I'm sure anybody who watches these review videos has been seeing these words, the Commonwealth. All I know is that it's a new group, and the cover of one of the comic issues was a lady that looks exactly like Georgie. So where does that leave us? For one, I felt like it was so out of place for this introduction. Like, my first thought when Maggie saw the crate and like the flag or whatever it was that maybe it was like Eugene being sneaky and trying to deliver something. But then I was like, okay, that's not right. That's not right. And I immediately like squashed that, because then when they go and get the note, they read it, and it's very odd. It's like, fill this with food or phonogram. What did they say? Phonograms? Phonographs? Fuck me. Records, okay. And then it's like, and I'll hold the key to your future, and you're like, what the fuck? And then you see these people standing there, and it's like, this is not the time to introduce new characters. Like, who the hell are these people? And it was so odd because, of course, so super skeptical of them, like so skeptical. But then, you know, I didn't even really put 2 and 2 together until after the show that the lady reminded me of the lady on the comic. So she gives them, eventually it all works out, you know. Enid wants to not kill him, but Enid wants to steal all their stuff, and Enid's going through a lot. Thank God Michonne was there to talk her down. Step back, I liked that. Enid, you're still somewhat of a child here, like, back off. Tone it down, chill out, give me your gun so you don't do anything insane. Michonne, the voice of reason, I love her. She talks her down, but eventually it all works out. Like, you guys saw the episode, I don't need to go through every little thing, but it works out, and the lady gives them the key to their future. Gives them all of these written out plans for like grain silos and windmills and aqueducts and like everything they need to build a new world. And it was like amazing. I'm actually getting chills like thinking about it right now, even though it's really fucking hot in here. Because again, as a comic reader, and I won't spoil anything, but we do see at some point in the future a better Alexandria with those same types of things. And that is amazing to me. It was one of my favorite parts in the comics, basically seeing this new world developed and how people come back from an apocalyptic type situation. And it's one of those incredible moments. And now we have, sorry, my phone's beeping. I'm about to have to get in line soon for pickup, so I gotta wrap this video up soon. But basically now they've closed the gap for how did they get all of these things. In the comic, it was never really described how they came to have this knowledge. All of a sudden it was just like, things are here. So I think we needed that, I guess. Did we need it in this episode? No, it felt so out of place. And a lot of people have been asking, like, well, are they gonna skip the Whisperer storyline, which I won't say anything about that, but are they gonna skip a bunch of stuff in the comics because now we're seeing this supposed Commonwealth leader? I will say this chick looks exactly the same, so I'm pretty certain that is what it is. But I honestly, people are worried that we're gonna be introduced to this lady's huge group soon. And I don't believe that. I think this interaction is like the sole interaction we'll have for a really long time, even a couple seasons down the road. I don't see them coming back for a while. I think it's gonna be one of those things where we've almost forgotten about them, and then she pops back in and we're like, whoa, that lady, you know? It's definitely gonna be down the road. I think they just like threw this weird thing in there. It was so trippy. It was so trippy, because I'm like, I just want to see the Negan and Rick fight. Like, who is this bitch? And her two, like, bodyguards coming with key. And she's, like, super, like, pantsuit, fancy pantsuit. She's, like, not dirty at all. She's got, like, her pearl earrings in. Like, all, like, hair done. Like, who are you? And where have you been living? Can I live there? Like, do you know what I mean? She has clearly not been sleeping in that camper van for very long. She has it. So what have I missed talking about? Because I'm pretty sure I've missed talking about something. I'm looking at my notes. I didn't have time to write out kind of a rundown of everything. I kind of take notes when I'm watching the episode, and then kind of just, normally I write down kind of what I want to say to you guys more specifically, but I didn't get to do that today. We talked about the Saviors. We talked about Daryl and Rick and Simon. So now we are left with next week's episode, we are left with Simon, and oh, at the end of the episode, okay, Dwight is all like, okay, we're gonna take the saviors, leave Negan behind, and he's like, we're gonna go and, well, he doesn't say this to Dwight, but as soon as he gets back to the group of saviors, he's like, we're gonna go, like, smite them from this earth. That's not what he said, but you know what I mean? Like, we're basically gonna go wipe them out, and I think Dwight's like looking at him like, that's not what you just said. Like, wait a second, what's happening here? So they're on their way to the hilltop. Negan has been captured, he's with Jadis, but Negan also knows that Simon betrayed him. He knows because Rick told him down there, and he knew in that moment that no one was coming to save him either. So at some point, Negan, I'm hoping, is going to kill Simon. But I could also totally see Dwight taking Simon down too, because he's like the only reasonable one there right now. If Negan is captured, I could totally see Dwight like taking Simon out in some way, so that he doesn't continue on to kill all of the people at the hilltop, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to basically wipe them out. But I don't think Dwight would do it in front of all the other saviors, because that would just get himself killed at that point. But I definitely could see that happening as well. Although I'm kind of like secretly hoping, and I just said this on Twitter too. I was talking to a couple people, but I was talking to Spot the Redis, which I love that account. But I was saying that, well, we were saying that it would be kind of epic for them to like final twist, like have both Negan and Rick take down Simon in the end. Probably never gonna happen, but I'm like secretly hoping that those two could be best friends at the end. I'm gonna get so much hate for saying that. You guys know I'm kidding, they can never be best friends, but I don't know, a girl can dream, right? I love them both. I don't want either of them to die. This entire episode, I was so like, I didn't know who to root for, and I think I said this in my reaction video, because I love Negan, but I also love Rick. Ultimately, like, I want Rick's group to win out over everything, of course. But you have to give me my love for Negan. He is like an excellent villain here. I think that's it for this episode. If I forgot something, please let me know. I feel like as soon as I like finish filming this, I'm definitely gonna suddenly remember something that I forgot to talk about. Something very important, like how I forgot last week. I don't know, but next week's episode, I heard it's gonna be really long, and I also have seen like that it's gonna be the hilltop's basically gonna get attacked, and I'm so looking forward to that, as weird as that sounds. I don't want anybody to die. We know there will be more deaths this season, I'm certain of that, but it's very hard to like, I don't want to deal with it, you know? But I'm also excited at the same time, so it's like, can we just have the fight and have like no one die? This review is long enough, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this review, will you please share it, subscribe, tell your friends. I'd really like more people to kind of know about these videos. I was just saying the other day also on Twitter that I feel like review videos, I started this channel never intending to do reactions. I started out with reviews in season 4 because I just needed someone to talk to. I needed you guys to talk to about this episode, because I had never I didn't have anyone else in my life to talk to about it, and so I started with reviews, and only after I started realizing that reactions get a hell of a lot more traffic than reviews did I start doing reactions as well, to try and like bring people to my channel to also see my reviews. And then things evolve, you know, and reactions become like the main focus, which is great. I love reacting because I also love watching how everyone else reacts to the episodes as well. So they're great. They've changed a lot since the beginning, and we have so many. Like when I started, there were like 4 people doing reactions. Literally, I'm not even kidding. To Walking Dead, and now there are like hundreds, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but there's a lot out there. But I feel like reviews have kind of gotten pushed to the side a little bit. Like we can get reaction videos in the thousands of views, and then we can put up a review video, any of us can put up a review video and maybe get a couple hundred views on it, if that. So I would love to like show some love, not just on my channel, but to other reactors who also do reviews. Show some love, because we want our reviews to do just as well as the reactions, and we love talking about it. So I feel like we all need to encourage each other more. But that being said, this is a long video, so I will see you guys next time. I love you so much. Have a great day. Bye.